300 bodies. No high-value man will wife a woman with that level of mileage.
I don't really care. Like, I'm very happy with my life right now. I have wonderful, stable, romantic situations with people who make me feel fulfilled. And I don't need to meet a man who identifies as a high-value man, because I think that is silly.
Well, in response to Davon Jackson's, somewhat related to your response to Davon. Oh.
Dank Nick donated $90.
Thank you, Bryce.
Hey,
Appreciate
don't be
it.
hating on us TDS guys. I go to work, then hit the gym to improve myself and catch this show twice a week. Mostly, this show is funny and Brian gets to out lots of 300 forks. Plus, it's Brian.
Yeah, actually, I have not revealed this, but all these guys that send TTS and donations, I actually got an OnlyFans. Huh? They're subscribed. All these guys are my OF.
We kind of do the same thing.
Talking about feed pics, huh? Yeah. Actually, onlyfans.com/whatever. Go check it out. Go sub. I actually have it, boys. There's some photos of Kiki, but it's sparse. Okay.
That's where you keep your $10
No, not
foot
Kiko.
pics.
Although Kiko, if you want, we could do a split. Just saying. I'm kidding. No. Okay. They're patrons of the show and they want to support the show. Mm-hmm. I'm very sorry. We had a string of TTSs there. Mm-hmm. Who was it you? I forgot who was.
No, just asking the girls like what a good husband is to them. Like build a man. I'm writing these things down. Yeah.
I think at the point when I'm ready to get married, I would want someone who is faithful, someone who is financially stable as I am, someone who wants the same amount of kids and I, like things that we have in common, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. Cooper donated $90. This chat only speaks facts, goddamn.
By the way, Davon, that was I think that was excoriated. I don't know. It was well put. Your TTS. Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Any other build a husband?
I think that if I were to build a husband or a spouse, it would be someone who I'm attracted to, somebody who is good at communicating with me. So when we don't understand each other, we can get to a point where we understand each other. Mm-hmm. Let me think. What else? Communication is the biggest one for me, but funny and brings like a calming presence to my life. I think those are the most important things. Yeah.
Okay. Kind and then calm. Okay. And then, so we have a good husband.
Mm-hmm. That's a great husband.
Yeah. And no, I mean, that would be like ideal if we could get it. What in your opinion makes a good wife?
I would say the exact same list. Yeah.
The same: faithful, we have money, kids, attractive, communication, funny, kind, calm. Mm-hmm. Same thing.
I would date that girl. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do beautiful woman. So like all that sounds really good. So I live in the Midwest. You guys are all from Cali, right?
I'm from the Midwest.
I'm from Australia.
Where? Oh, Australia? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Tylon 25 super chatted $100.
Yo, Tylon, thank you, man.
We have access to women. However, not many women are marriage worthy in the West.
That's true. So like when it comes to like having a good husband, so you're in the Midwest, do you mind saying like where from?
I'm originally from Missouri, but then I lived in Arkansas for a decade.
Okay, how long did you live there? Like when did you leave?
Missouri?
Yeah, how old were you when you left?
I grew up, I went to high school there.
Okay,
so I left St. Louis when I was like 17. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 18, something like that.
Do you think the dating scene in the Midwest is different than the dating scene in California?
You know what? I did not do much dating as a high school student.
Well, just like watching couples as a kid.
I do think it's different from what I'm experiencing now, because what I am doing in California is like working in like entertainment and porn. And when I was growing up, it was like people who I would see coupled up would be like, parents who lived in my very suburban neighborhood, and they just live a fundamentally different life than what I live.
Mm-hmm. Did you live in like a city in Australia, or is it more like the countryside?
I grew up in a town outside of the city, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that dating in LA is different than over there?
Well, most definitely. I mean, there's more people in the state of California than there is in the whole continent of Australia. So you definitely have a lot more options.
Yeah, having so many options is another thing that I think impacts it.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like the kind of guys that would embody these things, like faithful, which means that, he would want to be monogamous, have the finances, want to have children, and then, you know, has all these like fun things like communication, funny, kind, calm. I think that they would see it as a really big risk to marry a woman that's in sex work. Just because of parental reasons and also for infidelity reasons. I think that they would just see that as a risk and they might not take it unless like the guy is more blue-pilled or beta and just happy to have you around. And so the problem with if you do get married, and like this stuff does happen, don't get me wrong, like Riley Reid just got married. Shout out to her. Also, she just had a baby. So it's just like, how are you going to be attracted to that kind of guy long term? You know what I mean?
What kind of guy? You mean like a blue pill beta guy?
Yeah, you know, like a guy that says yes to a lot of things and kind of lets you lead. How would you be able to be attracted to him 10, 15, 20 years down the road? Because infidelity is pretty high in marriages for both men and women, but for very different reasons. So it's like the lives that you choose today, now in your 20s and your 30s, are really going to map out the kind of men that you can be in relationships with. It's not to say that you can't get married. It's just going to be maybe not to the guy that you want, right?
I mean, I think if you're dumbing it down to that, then yeah. But also, if you are an attractive woman living in a big city who's financially stable, and say for me, once I do get married, I want to leave the industry. I won't be in the industry anymore. That's not to say it's the same for everyone.
Yeah.
But I don't think what I've done in my past to set myself up for financial stability, generational wealth, all of that is going to impact any kind of man I would entertain to marry. I would never even entertain a man that would be put off by the fact that, oh, you make 6 figures a month selling your pussy or whatever they want to say on there. Like, it just depends on what you're going for. If you're a woman in the Midwest, then yeah, maybe it would have a bit of an effect.
By the way, this is Mike Davis. Continue.
Hey, Mike Davis.
Hey, Mike Davis. Yeah, I think location and the type of man you're looking for, sure. But I think if we're going off women that we know, or in a similar bracket, lifestyle, whatever, I don't think they're going to have a problem finding a man in that area.
Yeah, to be honest, so many of the porn stars that we know are in happy long-term relationships.
Yeah.
Many of them are even emotionally monogamous.
Yeah, how long?
Pretty long.
I know some that have been in for decades.
Yeah, like some of the biggest porn stars that I know have been in the same relationship for over 10 years.
Okay.
Happily married or just in like a very long-term stable relationship with kids that, have a good life.
Well, I mean, that part's different.
I would say most normal men, I'm not saying you can't find it, most men would have a major issue knowing that their girl is getting fucked by another guy.
Sure. I
Even
think
if it's
that
for
any
work,
person...
most men would have an issue with that.
Any individual person...
Martin super chatted $100.
Do I have to boost it?
Attorney and business owner.
Thanks, Martin.
Hundreds of employees. Sending Brian my bona fides. I have a girlfriend that's an I.
Oh.
I make more than the
Hear
OF
that?
girls on the panel. I'm concerned with the state of our society. Don't worry about my bank account. Worry about her next blood test.
Is this an HIV joke?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's
The
like
chat
an
is on
ASD.
fire.
Yeah.
Fire's in the chat. Okay.
Well,
I just feel like if you could say any individual person would not be a match for most people, you know? And so like when you're saying like, oh, normal men don't want this, normal men don't want that, like you could say that any individual person would not be a match for the
Derek
majority of
Manx
society.
donated